The quintessential part of any story is the journey the hero embarks on. At the heart of many great stories lies this narrative pattern that resonates deeply with our love for adventure and aspirations for growth and transformation. When done right, the hero's journey can elevate a story from mere entertainment to a meaningful exploration of the human experience. In fact, the appeal of the hero's journey can be traced back to its psychological roots. The popularizer of the concept, Joseph Campbell, was heavily influenced by Carl Jung's theories of psychoanalysis. This connection to Jungian psychology is no coincidence. It's precisely the reason why the hero's journey formula has resonated so deeply with audiences across time and cultures. Since its popularization by Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey has been analyzed and refined by numerous researchers and authors. While each interpretation emphasizes different stages or details, the core structure of the journey remains consistent. At its essence, the hero's journey is about venturing into the unknown, facing a series of challenges, trials, temptations, and ultimately undergoing a transformative rebirth. The hero emerges as a master of two worlds, equipped with newfound wisdom and prepared for further adventures. There are a lot of great visualizations of the hero's journey out there, each one emphasizing a different aspect and inviting us to think about it in a different way. But however faithful they are to the original idea, I have a problem with these visualizations. As I said earlier, rarely do any of us just marvel at it without any thought of applying it to structure the story of our own lives, or planning an adventure of our own. Even more so, many prominent figures in the self-improvement field explicitly or implicitly use the hero's journey as a reference point, urging us to go on the adventure of our lives. And these visualizations introduce a lot of nuances that are undoubtedly interesting and useful in terms of storytelling, but not so much in terms of understanding where you are and how to move forward. From a self-improvement point of view, the practical visualization has to be broad and simple enough in its description, so that a person would have no problem understanding where they are now, but also have a clear direction embedded in it, so that having found oneself on such a map, an adventurer would have some understanding of what to do next, rather than guessing what the adventure will offer now. With this, I invite you to my own attempt at visualizing this concept, the diagram of hero's journey. The horizontal axis represents internal-external duality of the journey. No journey would be complete if the hero didn't have to look inwards and to grow into a better person. But this growth should have practical value. It has to be applied in the real world and lead to a human impact. After all, a truly transformative journey cannot be confined solely to the insights of hero's mind. The vertical axis seems to be trickier. It has to represent the duality of growth and stagnation, transformation and struggle, decisiveness and apathy. For now, it will represent growth-struggle duality of the journey, but we will have to get back to this axis again. Let's inspect quadrants now. This one is the external struggle, the beginning of the journey. It represents the initial position the hero has in this world. Most likely it is flawed and begs for change. Maybe it is a desert planet with no prospects, existing in a galaxy controlled with an iron fist by a tyrant. Perhaps it is a monotonous existence in a world that gives a disturbing feeling like it's being simulated, where the mundane routine of daily life seems to conceal something deeper and sinister. Or maybe it is a comfortable house with all one might wish for. But in such sheltered existence, the only growth one can experience is the ever-increasing weight of own insecurities. This external struggle, this imperfect world, serves not just to torture the hero, but to provide foundations for understanding right and wrong on a practical level, and to propel the hero toward the next necessary stage of the journey, the internal struggle. This one is the internal struggle. It is about hero's understanding of one's place in the world, of what is desired and what simply is. It might be a lingering feeling of inadequacy, as if one is destined for greater things but held back by doubts. Maybe it is the fear of discovering a reality one may not be ready to face, matched by an equally relentless curiosity. Or it could be a nagging discontent, a haunting sense that something is missing in life, driving the hero to embark on a journey of self-discovery. This internal struggle makes the hero aware of that state of insufficiency and ignites yearning for a transformation. This one is the internal growth. It is the turning point in the hero's journey, where the protagonist undergoes a transformation. It is the culmination of the internal struggle, as the hero reconciles doubts, fears, and discontents, and ventures into the unknown. It might start in the form of the single willful decision, but doesn't stop there. It's not only about gaining the right mindset, but also about acquiring skills necessary to carry out one's will. The hero's internal growth enables one to transcend previous limitations and paves the way for the final stage of the journey. This one is the external growth. Armed with the skills learned and the wisdom gained from the journey, the hero is now able to confront the flawed reality and enact meaningful change. It is about taking hero's new faith to the test. It is about standing the ground. It is about proving that the transformation the hero have undergone is not fleeting, but is here to stay. No matter the circumstances, the hero's external growth marks the completion of the transformation, as the hero achieves a lasting effect. The final element to address in this visualization of the hero's journey is the reinterpretation of the vertical axis, which now represents not only growth and struggle, but also the split between known and unknown worlds. The known world, while being familiar, is flawed or is under a menacing shadow. The hero cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect the results to change. Such change can only be expected from the world of the unknown. Every hero inevitably embarks on a journey into the unknown, assuming a new, previously unfamiliar role. The hero voluntarily accepts responsibility for the state of the known world and ventures into the unknown in search of a solution. Now let's explore a few examples together. Frodo Baggins finds himself in a world that is under a great peril. Despite overcoming numerous struggles during the delivery of the ring to Rivendell, the nightmare is far from over, and the heroes bicker among themselves, unable to agree on their first step. Furthermore, Frodo, having been in prolonged contact with the ring, is being tormented by visions of the Great Eye, and he decides to take it upon himself and volunteers as a ring bearer, assuming a role that he was certainly not prepared for, but is willing to do his best. As we know, he goes through that heroic transformation and destroys the ring, saving the whole known world. It's always fascinating to revisit such epic tales, but this visualization of hero's journey can also be applied multiple times to the same story, signifying different transformative arcs. Neo, through the course of the first Matrix, goes through this cycle multiple times. First, when we're introduced to him as a hacker who is getting entangled in something mysterious, but still not fully committed, which ends in him doing that leap of faith and crossing the border to the unknown, escaping from the Matrix. Second, when his newfound reality is crumbling again, when Morpheus gets caught. Neo is tormented by guilt as Morpheus sacrificed himself for Neo, but Neo thinks it was in vain, as Oracle told Neo he is not the one. And Neo takes on the responsibility of saving Morpheus upon himself and rescues his teacher in a spectacular sequence of events. Lastly, when Neo finds himself being chased by Agent Smith, in a world where agents are unstoppable. But with all experience that he has now, Neo is in doubts once more about his place in the world. And in another courageous move, he tries to fit into the role of the One, and succeeds achieving godlike powers in the Matrix. But more importantly, now being a master of two worlds, as the hero's journey demands. And finally, we don't even have to consider truly epic arcs. More simple arcs can also be a small hero's journey. Bilbo, in the first part of the first Hobbit, goes through such an arc. He enjoys a sheltered existence, but Gandalf and dwarves, who unexpectedly pay him a visit, open his eyes to the world beyond. Initially reluctant to join, he understands that he needs to know what else life has to offer, and makes a daring plunge, perhaps the first in his life, signifying a small but victorious transformation of himself and his own world. The main point of such visualization is to show how the hero's journey can be applied on all sorts of scales. We long for great adventures, but it's not like we can adapt such epic stories to our own lives on a whim. The idea is to venture into the unknown every once in a while, especially when the necessity for a change is obvious. To try on a new role, to adapt to it, to find in oneself the strength to carry on, and to bring the fruits of such transformation into the known world, into everyday life. As Jordan Peterson suggests, it's not so much about the magnitude of the change, but about persistence and consistency. And I hope that this, much simpler visualization of the hero's journey might be of use to you in your own path, embracing both grand and small adventures alike. Thank you for your attention. As usual, I do not claim anything here to be an absolute truth, as I simply share my thoughts and observations. What do you think about it?